Hi, I'm Erica and today I'm going to show you how to make mini quiche for your bento box. I get a lot of inspiration when I'm walking through like the freezer section of the grocery store, and they'll have like dumplings and little mini pizzas and stuff. And I always try to think, how can I make that at home? And how can I translate that into a bento box? A thing that without fail always works is appetizer sized portions because they're smaller to begin with and you can pack them inside a little tiny box. So I saw some quiche today and I was like, why would I buy that frozen and pay all this money when I can just pay the same amount, make them myself, they're healthier, and I have them, you know, a bigger quantity. So the recipe I'm making today makes at least 6 muffin size quiches. They can be refrigerated, they can be frozen and reheated. You could probably serve them for dinner and people would be delighted, or if you have a party or something. You could also do the mini muffin size. I don't have time for that. I'm just going to do a regular size muffin. So let me show you what you're going to need. You will need 1 cup of broccoli cut up into very small pieces. You'll need 5 eggs. 3/4 of a cup of shredded cheese. I used a Mexican blend because that's what I had on hand. 3 tablespoons of milk, and salt and pepper. You're going to need about a 1/4 teaspoon of both salt and pepper. I have my little shakers, they're pretty good. And you're going to need store-bought pie crust. You can make your own, totally cool, but you're definitely going to need some pie crust, and I don't have that kind of time on my hands, so we're going store-bought. The first thing you want to do is cook your broccoli. You're just going to blanch it, so you're going to do, I talked about this in another video, you're going to boil a pot of water, you're going to toss in your broccoli, you're going to cook it for about a minute, not about, exactly a minute, and then you're going to drain it and run it under cool water to stop the cooking. The next thing you're going to do is roll out your dough. Mine was pre-packaged. I unrolled it and it was all broken up, so no problem. I just mashed it all together and I'm going to roll it out again. If you have to do that, don't make it into like a big mound because you'll never get through that. You want to do it in a flat disc like that in the shape you want it to be. And you can also use the packaging to roll it out so you don't get flour everywhere. It won't stick to anything. It's going to be so awesome, guys. Check this out. Right, look how beautiful that is. Even if you just unroll it from the box, go ahead and use your rolling pin and roll it out a little bit thinner because we're making little teeny ones. You don't need the crust to be so thick, and it's not going to absorb a lot of liquid anyway. So after that, you want to take the biggest cookie cutter you have, or if you don't have cookie cutters and don't want to invest in them, you can take a knife and just trace around a plate with it, and that's how you'll get your little shape. So I'm going to cut out 6 of these. Right, here's my 6 little discs. I'm going to take them and I'm going to put them in these. I'm just going to space them out through there. But yeah, all you really have to do, which I need 2 hands for this, you're going to take that and you're just going to like press it in nicely. And let me show you when it's done. Magic of editing. Alright, so the next thing you're going to do, you're going to par bake these. And par baking is where you bake the crust a little bit and then you take it out and then you add the filling, so that way the bottoms are nice and crisp, they don't get too soggy, and it doesn't fall apart when you take them out, or worse, when you eat it. So here's how you par bake. You want to take some muffin cups, press them in there, and then you're going to take some beans, or I think you can use rice, or pie weights are a fun thing. You're going to put those, you're going to fill the liners. This keeps it so that the crust keeps its shape and doesn't poof up. So I'm going to do this to all 6, and then I'm going to put them in the oven and bake them for 10 minutes. While your crusts are baking, you're going to want to whisk all your eggs together, add the milk and cheese and your salt and pepper. Bam! Alright, so I baked my crust, I par baked them. And I carefully removed the center. See, you can see the little creases. And I let it cool for just a couple minutes. And what I'm going to do now is fill them. First, I'm going to fill the cup about halfway with the egg mixture, the egg and cheese mixture. I'm I'm going to add a little bit of broccoli into it. I'm going to add a little bit more egg mixture. And then I'm going to top with a little more cheese so it gets a nice brown crust on top. And that's it. So I'm going to do all those and I'll show you what they look like. Here they are, ready to go in the oven. I'm going to bake them at 400 degrees for 12 to 15 minutes. It's been 14 minutes. The centers are pretty set. They'll continue to cook as I take them out. So I'm going to set these out and let them cool for a little bit. Look how delicious those look. All right, how delicious do those look? So to get them out, you want to take a paring knife and really gently run it around the outside edge, and you should be able, they should pop right out. So let's try it with this guy. So I ran it around the edge and use it as kind of a spatula to help pry it up. Oh yeah. Check that out. So I'm going to put one in my bento box and let me show you. So now I'm going to show you how I build a bento box. I start with the biggest objects first. So that's my quiche, and I have a silicone liner filled with sweet potatoes on the bottom. So I've got a lot of extra room, and what I want to do is I want to fill that room so that nothing moves around. And I'm going to use these, they're pretty large cherry tomatoes. They're more like mini plum tomatoes. But I'm going to use those. Probably some berries to fill those gaps too. But that way when you shake it, nothing really, nothing moves around in your lunch bag. Okay, so let's go to the top. I've got my walnuts here. I'm gonna add, I've got my peanut butter cups, and I've got my little mini brie. And then around that, I'm just gonna fill in any empty spots. Thank you so much for watching. In terms of simplicity, this is not really the simplest recipe that I have, but in terms of the actual cooking part, it's pretty easy. It's mostly just assembly and waiting time. I used the time while everything was baking and cooling down to make my bento box for the morning and my bento box. I kind of prepped everything else for my lunch. And then I cleaned my kitchen, so it was great. It was a really great way to spend, like, I don't know, that recipe's probably an hour total, to be honest. But not bad, because you get a bunch out of it. It's another thing that you can freeze, and you could make like a whole tray of them and have them for, months if you want. So let me know if you have any questions. I answer them if I can. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below. Bye!